Arun lived in a small, quiet town surrounded by green hills and wide forests. He was a simple man who loved nature more than anything. Every evening after work, he walked into the forest to enjoy the peace that trees and fresh air gave him. He often carried a small bag with water and a few snacks. He liked sitting near the old stream where he could hear the water flow gently over the rocks. One evening the sun was setting and the sky was painted with orange and pink colors. Arun was walking back home when he heard a weak cry coming from behind some bushes. At first he thought it might be a wounded bird or maybe a small animal caught in a trap. He moved carefully toward the sound, pushing aside the branches. What he saw made him freeze for a moment. Lying on the ground was a creature he had never seen before. It looked like a mix of a small fox and a bird. Its body was covered in soft silver fur, and its wings shone faintly like moonlight. The creature's eyes were large and bright, filled with both pain and fear. One of its wings was bent at a strange angle. Aaron knelt beside it and spoke softly. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The creature looked at him but did not move. He slowly reached out his hand. When he saw that the creature did not try to escape, he lifted it carefully. It was lighter than he expected and warm to the touch. He carried it home wrapped in his jacket. His heart beat fast, not from fear but from worry. He could see the creature was weak and in pain. When he reached his small wooden house, he placed it on an old blanket near the fire. He filled a bowl with water and placed it nearby. Then he cleaned its wound gently with warm water. The creature made a soft sound, almost like a sigh. Its feathers glowed faintly in the light of the fire. Arun smiled, feeling relief that it trusted him. "You'll be fine," he said quietly. "You just need to rest." That night, Arun stayed beside the creature. He made a small bed using old towels and placed it near the window. He gave the creature some milk in a bowl. At first it refused to eat, but later it took small sips. Arun felt happy watching it recover little by little. He decided to call it Luma, because its feathers glowed softly, lighting the dark room like a small lamp. As the night went on, Luma made soft chirping sounds while sleeping. Arun sat near the fire, wondering what kind of animal it could be. He had seen many animals in the forest, but nothing like this. Its silver fur and glowing wings seemed too unusual to belong to Earth. He thought maybe it was some rare bird that had lost its way. In the morning, the sunlight came through the window. Arun woke up and saw Luma sitting up, looking around the room. It seemed stronger now. When he came closer, it tilted its head and looked directly into his eyes. There was intelligence in that look, something almost human. Arun stretched out his hand slowly. Luma moved forward and touched his fingers with its soft beak. That small gesture filled his heart with warmth. He decided to take Luma outside for fresh air. He carried it in his arms and walked to the back of his house where a small garden grew. The flowers were bright with morning dew. Luma looked around curiously, spreading its wings slightly but not enough to fly. Arun smiled at the sight. "You'll be flying again soon," he said. Days passed and Luma healed quickly. Its feathers grew brighter each night. Arun noticed that sometimes when he spoke to it, the creature seemed to understand. It would tilt its head or make sounds as if replying. Sometimes it even followed him around the house like a pet. Arun began to enjoy its company. He felt less lonely, and his evenings became joyful again. One evening, as the sun went down, Arun sat outside with Luma resting beside him. The sky turned dark blue and stars began to appear. Suddenly, Luma lifted its head and made a sharp sound. Its feathers glowed brighter than ever. Arun looked up and saw something unusual in the sky. A bright light moved slowly across the clouds, not like an airplane or a shooting star. It seemed to hover in one place. Arun watched with wide eyes. The light shimmered and then faded away into the darkness. He felt a strange feeling, like something important had just happened. Luma also seemed restless. It paced back and forth, spreading its wings as if it wanted to go somewhere. Arun tried to calm it, but it continued making soft cries. Later that night, after Luma had settled down, Arun sat by the window thinking about what he had seen. He remembered stories people told about lights in the sky, about unknown visitors from other worlds. He had never believed them before, but now he was not so sure. The creature he found was unlike anything from Earth, and that light had appeared the day after he rescued it. Arun decided to keep Luma safe no matter what. He knew that if someone else found it, they might harm it out of fear or greed. He promised himself he would protect it until it was strong enough to return to wherever it came from. That night, while he was about to sleep, Luma moved closer and rested its head on his arm. Its feathers glowed softly, filling the room with a gentle silver light. Arun smiled and whispered, "You're not alone anymore." As the glow filled the room, something strange happened. The light flickered, and for a short moment a symbol appeared on Luma's feathers, glowing like a small star pattern. Aaron noticed it and wondered what it meant. He felt a chill, not of fear but of wonder. Maybe this creature carried secrets from a world far beyond Earth. He closed his eyes, feeling peaceful. Outside, the same light that had hovered in the sky appeared again, but this time farther away, watching silently from the clouds. Aaron slept without knowing that his act of kindness had already reached another world. Somewhere beyond the stars, a young alien princess had received a faint signal that her lost companion was alive. Her heart filled with hope, and her journey toward Earth had already begun. The story of a simple man and a mysterious creature was about to become something far greater than he could ever imagine. The next evening came quietly, and the air felt strange around Arun's small house. The forest, usually filled with the sounds of birds and crickets, was silent. The sky above looked darker than usual, though the stars shone brightly. Arun stood outside with Luma resting on his shoulder. The creature's silver feathers glowed softly, making the area around them shimmer with gentle light. Aaron looked toward the sky, still thinking about the strange bright light he had seen the night before. He wondered if it would return. He did not tell anyone in the town about it. People might laugh or worry, and he wanted to protect Luma's secret. That night, the wind blew stronger. The trees swayed and the air felt charged with energy. Luma suddenly looked up, its wings half open as if it could sense something above the clouds. Aaron followed its gaze and saw a soft beam of blue light appear high in the sky. It moved slowly at first, then stopped directly above the forest. The light grew brighter and a shape began to form inside it. Aaron stepped back in surprise. The shape became clearer until it looked like a small craft made of shining metal. It floated silently, moving down toward the forest clearing. Aaron's heart raced. He had never seen anything like it. Luma let out a soft cry and fluttered its wings. Aaron could feel that the creature knew what was happening. The craft landed gently among the trees, making no sound. A round door opened on its side and a faint mist spread over the ground. From inside stepped 3 tall figures wearing silver suits that reflected the moonlight. Their faces were hidden behind smooth glass helmets. They moved slowly, scanning the area with strange glowing devices. Aaron hid behind a tree, holding Luma close to his chest. He wanted to see what they were doing, but didn't want to be seen. The figures spread out, moving carefully through the forest as if searching for something. One of them pointed a small device toward the ground, and a soft hum filled the air. A symbol appeared on the screen, glowing the same color as Luma's feathers. Arun understood then. They were looking for Luma. He felt torn. On one hand, these strangers might be the creature's real owners. On the other, he was afraid they might hurt it or take it away forever. Luma looked up at him with trusting eyes as if asking him to decide. At that moment, one of the figures lifted its helmet. Aaron was shocked to see that it was not a man but a woman. Her skin was pale with a soft blue glow and her eyes were bright like crystal water. Her hair floated slightly as if touched by a light breeze, even though the air was still. She looked around with calm strength and spoke something in a language Aaron could not understand. Her voice was soft yet carried great power. This woman was Princess Ilara of the planet Vereen. She had been searching for her lost companion for many days across the stars. The small creature Luma was not just an animal on her planet, but a royal guardian and symbol of peace. When it disappeared during a journey through space, she had promised to find it no matter how far it had gone. Her guards continued scanning the ground. The signal from Luma's body was faint because of Earth's energy fields. They moved slowly through the forest, following the trail that led closer to Aaron's home. Ilara stopped and looked around as if feeling something. She could sense that her lost friend was near. Aaron stayed hidden, but his heart was beating fast. He could not decide whether to run or to reveal himself. He did not know if these visitors were kind or dangerous. Luma made a soft sound and looked toward the clearing where Ilara stood. The creature began to glow brighter. The light from its feathers was so strong that it broke through the shadows. Ilara saw the glow and turned her head sharply in that direction. The guards raised their scanners. Arun realized they were coming toward him. He took a deep breath and stepped out from behind the tree. He held Luma gently in his arms and raised his other hand to show he meant no harm. The tall figure stopped for a moment. Ilara walked forward slowly, her eyes fixed on the glowing creature. When she came closer, Luma chirped softly and stretched its wings. It jumped from Aaron's arms and flew toward her. Ilara caught it with care, holding it close to her chest. For the first time, her serious face softened into a warm smile. She whispered something in her own language, and Luma responded with a happy sound. Aaron stood there, unsure what to say. He was amazed to see that the creature truly belonged to someone from another world. Ilara looked at him and spoke again, this time pressing a small round device on her wrist. Her words changed into English through the translator. "Human," she said gently. "You saved my companion. I thank you with all my heart." Aaron was speechless. He had never imagined that he would meet someone from another planet. He managed to say, "I just wanted to help. It was hurt and I couldn't leave it." Ilara looked at him with deep respect. "You have shown great kindness to a being you did not know. Few would do the same." She reached into a pouch and took out a small glowing stone. It shone with soft blue light. "This is a gift from Vereen. It holds the light of our home star. Keep it as a sign of gratitude." She placed the stone in his hand. It felt warm and seemed to pulse like a heartbeat. Aaron looked at it, still unable to believe what was happening. Before leaving, Ilara looked at him once more. "Our worlds are far apart, but your act of kindness will not be forgotten." Her words were calm but filled with meaning. She turned and walked back toward the craft with Luma resting safely in her arms. The guards followed silently. Aaron watched as the craft lifted into the sky. The light around it grew stronger until it disappeared among the stars. The forest became quiet again. He stood there, the glowing stone still in his hand. When he returned home, he placed the stone on his table. It continued to shine softly, lighting up the room. Aaron sat beside it, thinking about everything that had happened. He missed Luma but felt proud that he had helped it return home. He wondered if he would ever see the princess again. That night, as he looked out the window, he noticed something strange. The stars above seemed brighter than usual. One of them blinked twice, almost like a signal. Aaron smiled, thinking maybe it was a message from the princess herself. He whispered to the night sky, "I hope Luma is safe." The stone glowed brighter for a short moment, as if answering him. Aaron leaned back in his chair, feeling peace in his heart. He did not know that his simple act of compassion had already changed the destiny of two worlds. A few days had passed since the strange night when Aaron met the visitors from the sky. The glowing stone that Princess Ilara had given him still lay on his table, shining softly every evening. It was small, but its light never faded. Sometimes when Aaron held it in his hand, it pulsed gently, almost as if it was alive. He often wondered if it was some kind of message from far away. Life in the town returned to normal, but Aaron could not stop thinking about what he had seen. The silver craft, the glowing suits, and the graceful princess were memories that played again and again in his mind. He had helped a creature from another world, and for that moment, he had become part of something greater than his quiet life. Yet he missed Luma. His little house felt empty without the soft glow that once filled it at night. One morning, Aaron decided to return to the forest where everything had started. He wanted to visit the place where the spacecraft had landed, just to see if there was any sign left behind. The air was cool, and sunlight filtered through the tall trees. He followed the path until he reached the clearing. The ground still looked slightly burned, and there were small patches of silver dust shining faintly in the soil. He knelt down and touched the dust. It felt smooth and cold. As he stood up, a soft breeze passed through the trees. He felt as if someone was watching him. He looked around but saw no one. The forest was silent, yet there was a strange energy in the air. Suddenly, a faint hum filled the clearing. The sound grew louder, and Aaron felt the ground vibrate slightly beneath his feet. Before he could move, a bright beam of light appeared in front of him. It was not blinding, but it shimmered like sunlight on water. From within the light, a tall figure stepped forward. Aaron took a step back, heart pounding. As the light faded, he saw her. It was Princess Ilara. She was not wearing her spacesuit this time. She wore a long silver robe that seemed to flow like liquid metal. Her blue glowing skin shone softly, and her calm eyes met his with kindness. Aaron stood frozen, unable to speak. He could not believe that she had returned to Earth. Ilara looked around the forest before walking toward him. "Do not be afraid, human," she said in her gentle voice. "I have come in peace." Aaron nodded slowly, still amazed. "I am not afraid," he said. I just did not expect to see you again. I had to return, she replied. There is something important you must know. She stopped a few feet away and placed her hand over her heart, a gesture of respect in her culture. Aaron noticed a small silver band around her wrist that glowed with soft blue light. He also saw a small creature peeking out from behind her. It was Luma. The little being chirped happily when it saw Arun and flew straight toward him. Arun laughed and held out his arms as Luma landed on his shoulder, glowing brighter than ever. You look stronger now, Arun said softly, gently touching its feathers. He looked at Ilara. I am glad you found each other again, Ilara smiled. Luma would not stop sending signals toward this planet. It seems the creature missed you. She paused for a moment, then added, and I must admit, so did I. Her words made Aaron's heart beat faster. He did not know what to say. He simply smiled, unsure if she meant friendship or something deeper. Ilara looked around the forest again. This world is peaceful. Your people have something we lost long ago. Aaron frowned slightly. What do you mean? On my planet, she said softly, we have great technology and knowledge, but we often forget simple feelings like kindness and trust. When I learned that you cared for a creature you did not know, it made me wonder about your kind. Compassion is a strength, not a weakness. Aaron listened carefully. Her words carried both wisdom and sadness. He realized that even beings from advanced worlds could feel lost in ways humans understood. Ilara continued, when I returned home, I told my council about you. Some of them did not believe me. They said humans are too young to understand true wisdom. I disagreed. So I came back to show them that your world has people with pure hearts. Aaron was surprised. You came here for that? Yes, she said with a calm smile. And also because I wanted to see you once more. Aaron looked at the glowing stone hanging around his neck. He had tied it there the day she left. This stone, he said, sometimes it shines brighter. Is that you? Ilara nodded. It connects to my ship through energy waves. When I think of you, it glows stronger. Aaron looked down, feeling a mix of warmth and wonder. Then it has been glowing often, he said quietly. Ilara laughed softly, a sound like a gentle song. She walked closer and touched the stone lightly. It carries a piece of my world. Now it belongs to both of us. For a moment, they stood in silence. The wind rustled through the trees and sunlight danced on the leaves. Luma flew around them in circles, filling the air with a soft blue glow. Ilara turned serious again. There's something else. I must warn you. When my ship passed near your planet, it was detected by others who are not as peaceful as we are. They may come here one day. Your world is beautiful and some will try to take from it. But they do not understand kindness or care for life. Aaron felt a chill. What can we do? Ilara looked at him with steady eyes. You can do what you already do. Protect, care, and stand for what is right. That is your strength. Sometimes even the smallest act can change the future. Arun nodded, though he still felt unsure. If they come, will you return? Yes, she said firmly. I will protect this world as long as I live. Luma landed between them again, glowing brightly. The creature chirped happily as if agreeing with her promise. Ilara looked up at the sky where faint clouds floated. My time here is short. If I stay too long, the atmosphere will affect my ship's signal, but I wanted you to know that your kindness reached far beyond your world. It reminded me of what true strength is. She stepped back and the air around her began to shimmer again. Arun felt his heart grow heavy. Will I see you again? He asked. Ilara smiled gently. Yes, when the time is right. Luma flew to her side and looked at Arun one last time before settling on her shoulder. The beam of light surrounded them, growing brighter until it covered the clearing. Arun shielded his eyes. When the light faded, they were gone. Only the soft hum of the forest remained. Aaron stood there for a long time, looking up at the sky. He felt both sadness and hope. He touched the glowing stone on his chest. It was still warm. As he walked home, he thought about Ilara's words. Compassion is a strength, not a weakness. He understood them deeply now. The world might be vast and the stars might hold countless mysteries, but one small act of kindness could reach across galaxies. That night, when he placed the glowing stone on his table, it pulsed once more, brighter than before. Arun smiled and whispered, "Until we meet again." Then he sat by the window, watching the stars above, unaware that far beyond them, Princess Ilara was doing the same, thinking of the human who had changed her heart forever. Many weeks passed after the day Princess Ilara returned to the stars. The forest around Aaron's house was peaceful again, but his heart still felt full of memories. Each night when the world grew quiet, he would sit by his window and look at the glowing stone she had given him. The small blue light never faded. It reminded him that somewhere far away, someone among the stars remembered him. Aaron's days went on as usual. He worked in his small garden, helped his neighbors when they needed it, and walked through the forest every evening. Yet his thoughts often drifted toward Ilara and Luma. He wondered how they were and if they still thought about Earth. He sometimes dreamed of the silver skies of her world and the strange, shining towers she had spoken about. One cold evening, as Arun was preparing to rest, the glowing stone on his table suddenly began to pulse with a stronger light. It filled the room with a blue glow brighter than ever before. Arun stood up in surprise. The light spread across the walls and formed a thin beam that floated in the air. Slowly, the beam shaped itself into a clear image. It was Ilara. Her image stood before him, glowing softly. She looked the same as he remembered, her silver robe shining and her eyes calm and kind. Arun could hardly believe what he was seeing. "Arun," she said, her voice gentle but filled with emotion. "I hope you can hear me." The light flickered slightly, but the sound was clear. Aaron stepped closer, feeling both wonder and happiness. "I can hear you," he said. "Is it really you?" "Yes," she replied with a warm smile. "This message is sent through the stone you carry. It connects to my ship's energy field. I wanted to speak with you again." Arun felt his heart lift. "I never thought I would hear from you again." "I am glad you are safe," Ilara nodded. "I am safe, but much has happened since I returned to Vereen. The council of my world now believes what I told them about you. They understand that humans have a special kind of strength. Your kindness to Luma has become a lesson we now share with others. I have told your story to our people. We call it the light of compassion." Arun listened with quiet pride. "I did not do anything great. I only helped an injured creature." Ilara smiled softly. "And that is what makes it great. You helped without knowing who or what Luma was. You acted from your heart. That is what true strength means." The image shimmered slightly as the connection adjusted. Then her face grew more serious. "There is another reason for this message. We have discovered something troubling near your planet. A group of explorers from another world is moving toward your solar system. They are not peaceful like my people. Their ships are strong and their leaders care only for power. They may see Earth as a place to take from, not a place to respect." Arun felt a chill. "Is there danger for us?" "Not yet," Ilara replied. "But it could come. They are far away, but they may send scouts one day. I wanted to warn you so your people can be ready. I will try to protect your world from afar, but I cannot do it alone." Aaron looked down, feeling both worried and determined. "What can I do? I am only one man." "You can do what you have already done," she said. "Share kindness and courage with others. Your world will need people who believe in good more than fear. Change begins with one person." Her words sank deep into his heart. He nodded slowly. "I understand." Ilara looked at him for a moment longer, and her expression softened again. "I wish I could be there in person, but our worlds are still too far apart. However, I have something for you." She held up a small silver disc that glowed in her hand. "When the time comes, this will reach you. It will help you send a message across the stars. You may not need it soon, but one day you will." The light from the disc floated out of her hand and passed through the beam of light into Aaron's room. It landed gently on his table, glowing beside the stone. Arun picked it up carefully. It felt warm and smooth. He looked at Ilara again. "I do not know how to thank you for all this. I never imagined my life would connect with yours." Ilara's smile returned. "Perhaps it was meant to happen. The universe brings souls together for reasons we cannot see. Your kindness reached beyond your world and touched mine. For that, I am grateful." Luma appeared beside her in the image, flapping its wings happily. It chirped, and the sound came through the light, filling the room with warmth. Arun laughed softly. "I missed you, little friend." The creature chirped again as if it understood his words. Ilara looked at both of them with a peaceful expression. "Luma remembers you every day. It often looks at the stars in the same direction as your planet. I believe it feels your care even from far away." Aaron felt a wave of emotion. He wanted to reach out, but the image shimmered faintly, showing that the message was beginning to fade. "I must go soon," Ilara said gently. "The signal will not last long. But remember this, Aaron. No act of kindness is ever lost. Even the smallest light can travel across the stars and change hearts. You have reminded me of that truth. Arun nodded, his voice quiet. And you reminded me that the universe is full of good, not just mystery. I will remember your words. The image flickered once more. For a moment, Ilara's eyes met his as if she could truly see him. Then she said, "Until we meet again." The light faded slowly until only the glowing stone remained on the table. The room grew quiet once more. Arun stood there, feeling the warmth of the message still in the air. He looked at the new silver disc resting beside the stone and smiled softly. He stepped outside and looked up at the night sky. The stars were bright, shining like silver dust scattered across the darkness. He held the stone up toward them. It glowed brighter as if answering the call. Aaron whispered, "Thank you, Ilara." For the rest of the night he sat outside watching the stars. The forest around him was calm, and the cool wind brushed against his face. He no longer felt alone. Somewhere out there, among the endless stars, there was a friend who cared. He thought about her words again. Kindness was a strength. He understood that this truth could protect not only one person, but an entire world. From that night on, Aaron promised himself he would live by it every day. He would help, protect, and guide others in his town, even in small ways. Because sometimes the smallest actions reach the farthest places. And far away, in the shining towers of Virene, Princess Ilara stood on her balcony, looking at the same stars. She held a crystal sphere showing Earth's sky and smiled softly. The stars that shone for her were the same ones that glowed above Aaron. Though they lived in different worlds, their hearts now shared one light, the light of compassion that connected them beyond time and distance. The days passed peacefully in Arun's small town. He had returned to his usual life, but inside he was a changed man. The glowing stone from Princess Ilara still rested on his table, and the small silver disc she had sent through her message stayed beside it. Sometimes at night he would sit and watch the soft blue light, feeling calm and close to the stars. He did not tell anyone about what had happened. It felt like a secret between him and the universe. One morning, Arun was walking through the forest when he noticed something unusual. The birds were quiet again, and the air had a faint vibration. He looked up and saw thin lines of light moving in the sky. They were not like shooting stars or airplanes. They looked alive, twisting gently like streams of energy. A deep sound filled the air, and the trees around him began to tremble. Aaron knew at once that this was not normal. He ran toward the open field near his house, and as he reached the clearing, a bright beam of light came down from the clouds. The same sound he had heard before filled the air. He covered his eyes, and when he looked again, a shining silver craft stood before him. The door opened slowly, and from within stepped Princess Ilara. She looked different this time. Her robe was white with a golden edge, and her eyes seemed brighter. Luma flew beside her, glowing with joy. Aaron felt a rush of happiness as he walked toward them. "You came back," he said, smiling. Ilara nodded with warmth in her eyes. "Yes, Aaron. I came because your world needs you." Aaron looked surprised.
"Me? How can I help?"
Ilara stepped closer. "Do you remember the group I warned you about? The ones who do not value peace?" "Yes," Aaron replied with a worried tone. "They have reached the edge of your solar system," Ilara said. "They are still far, but my council believes that they will soon send scouts to study Earth. My people have decided that it is time for your planet to join the Alliance of Peaceful Worlds. But the council wants a representative from Earth to speak before them, someone who understands both kindness and courage. I told them about you." Aaron's eyes widened. "Me, but I am just a simple man. I have never spoken to anyone important." Ilara smiled gently. "Sometimes simple hearts carry the greatest truth. You do not need power or wealth to speak for your world. You only need honesty." Aaron felt nervous but honored. "What must I do?" "I will take you to my planet," she said. "You will meet the Council of Virene. They want to understand humans through you. You will tell them what makes your world worth protecting." He looked toward his home, then back at her. He had never left his town, and now she was asking him to leave his planet. Yet deep inside, he felt that this was his purpose. He nodded slowly. "I will go." Ilara's face brightened. "You are brave, Aaron. Come." She held out her hand. He took it, and together they walked toward the shining craft. Luma followed, chirping happily. The door closed behind them, and the craft rose silently into the sky. Aaron looked through the window as the earth grew smaller. The clouds turned into thin lines, and soon the planet looked like a blue gem floating in the dark. Ilara stood beside him. "Do not be afraid. My world is far, but this ship will take us there safely." The journey through space was beyond anything Aaron had imagined. Stars glided past like rivers of light. Sometimes they passed through clouds of glowing dust that shimmered in many colors. Ilara explained that these were energy fields connecting distant worlds. Aaron listened with wonder. After several hours, the ship slowed down and a beautiful sight appeared ahead. A large planet covered in silver oceans and shining cities floated in the darkness. Golden lights ran across its surface like living veins. Ilara smiled proudly. "Welcome to Vereen." The ship entered the atmosphere, and Arun saw tall towers made of crystal and soft golden bridges connecting them. The skies were filled with graceful flying creatures, and the air shimmered with gentle colors. Everything looked alive and full of peace. When they landed, several people in bright robes greeted them. They bowed to Ilara and looked curiously at Arun. She introduced him proudly. "This is Arun of Earth, the human who showed compassion beyond his world." The people smiled kindly. They led him to a great hall made of glass-like stone that reflected the light of the twin suns above. In the center of the hall sat the Council of Vereen, wise beings with calm faces and glowing eyes. Ilara guided Arun to stand before them. One of the elders spoke in a deep voice. "Human, we have heard of your kindness. Tell us why your world deserves our friendship." Aaron took a deep breath. He looked at Ilara for courage, then stepped forward. "My world is not perfect," he said. "People make mistakes and sometimes they forget kindness. But there is goodness in us. When someone falls, another helps them up. When we see pain, we try to heal it. Even small acts of care can make big changes. I did not save Luma because I wanted a reward. I helped because it was the right thing to do. That is what it means to be human." The hall was silent. The elders looked at each other. Then the oldest among them smiled. "You speak with truth. A heart like yours shows the light that still burns in humankind. We welcome your world into the circle of peace." Ilara's face filled with pride and joy. She looked at Aaron and said softly, "You have done more than you know." After the meeting, Aaron spent some time on Vereen. He saw their gardens that floated in the air, their schools that taught wisdom instead of greed, and their cities that glowed with harmony. The people treated him as a guest of honor. Everywhere he went, they bowed slightly in respect. But as beautiful as Vereen was, Aaron missed the green forests of earth and the sound of rain. One evening, Ilara stood with him on a balcony that overlooked the glowing oceans. The twin suns were setting, painting the sky with gold. "I must return home soon," Arun said quietly. "My world needs me." Ilara nodded slowly. "I knew you would say that. Your heart belongs to Earth, but know that you will always have a place here too." She took a small pendant from around her neck. It was shaped like a star and glowed softly. "Take this," she said. "It will shine whenever I think of you. It will remind you that you are never alone." Aaron accepted it with gratitude. "And I will never forget what you have taught me." The next morning, Ilara took him back to the ship. Luma flew beside them, chirping softly. As the ship prepared to leave, she turned to him one last time. "Farewell, Aaron. The bond between our worlds will live forever." Aaron smiled gently. "Farewell, Ilara. I will keep the light alive." The ship carried him back through the stars, and soon Earth appeared once more, shining blue and bright. When he landed near his home, he stepped out and looked up at the sky. The pendant around his neck glowed faintly, and he knew she was watching. From that day on, Aaron lived his life with quiet strength. He helped his people, taught them kindness, and shared what he had learned. His story became known in his town, and many began to follow his example. They did not know that far away among the stars, a princess watched proudly from her shining world. Two worlds were now connected by a single act of kindness. The bond between them became a symbol of hope. And whenever the night sky was clear, a faint silver light could be seen moving gently across the heavens, reminding all who looked up that compassion could reach beyond the stars.